Hey everybody, I'm Bob Bakert with Jazz Guitar Today, and we're here at long last with Josh Meader. This is like 3 years in the making, you know that, right?
I know, I know. Yeah,
But
it's been so long since we did our last one.
good
Thanks again
God,
for having me.
we tried to do one somewhere in that interim period, and then through the COVID time, God, you brought up COVID actually. You were talking about how your band, we'll talk about that in a minute, was really formed
Yeah, yeah.
during COVID. This blows me away. For people that don't know, you're an Australian guitar player.
Yeah.
You live in Sydney. You've been playing on the street busking with your dad since you were like about 11?
Yeah, yeah. Basically. Yeah. Maybe a couple years after, I guess, when we moved to Australia was when I was 11, and that's when we
Yeah,
sort of started.
so there's video of you on the street and was that Perth at
Yeah.
the time? Was it Perth or Sydney?
No, always Sydney, yeah.
Oh, so
Always Sydney.
Okay, it was Sydney.
Yeah.
So there you are on the street with your dad at 11 years old playing
Yeah.
jazz standards, swing jazz standards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people want to know, where does this guy come from? And then obviously you went on to conservatory,
Yeah.
studied there for a long, long time, and you're very prolific on YouTube. I mean, you made I don't know hundreds of videos, if not thousands.
Yeah.
Like this is Josh playing Autumn Leaves. This is Josh playing, all these different things, and all of your tracks. And I didn't realize that this is your debut record.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I that
Finally.
that blows my mind because you've been around. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you've been around forever. I mean, not ever, but you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying
Yeah.
because you're a young guy. But
Yeah. Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, it's like I can't believe it's your debut record. And good God, what a debut it is, man.
Oh, thank you,
I,
Bob. Thanks so much.
I've been listening to it, and I'm going, man, this stuff is good. All right. So whenever you compare somebody to somebody, you're always in trouble. You're in trouble from the scratch. But
Yeah, understand.
here's the thing: your trio, it's
Mm.
Matthew Thompson on keys,
Yep, yep.
Alex Hurlian. Is that how
Hurley,
it?
yeah,
Hurlian? Okay, it's
exactly.
on drums. Both of those guys are amazing.
Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah, you've
Yeah.
been playing together for a
Both ways.
long time, so you're really well rehearsed.
Yeah,
I'm watching you in the studio playing, because you've got a bunch of YouTube stuff up, and
yeah.
no one's got a chart in front of them.
No, no, no,
And
definitely not.
this stuff is not exactly G, C, and D. I mean, this is, and not only that, the time signatures are crazy. and
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
nobody's like looking, or well, this one's in 114.74. It's like, oh, what are you guys doing? I'm going, good God, I don't know how many people could appreciate exactly what's going on there, but a lot is going on, and there's no music in front of
Oh,
anybody,
thanks, man.
and you guys, it's pretty phenomenal. It really is. And okay, so I'm listening to, and I'm going, who the hell does that sound like?
Yeah, yeah,
Or who, what am I hearing here? But
yeah.
you got a lot of Alan Holdsworth in you now.
I love Alan, definitely. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
one of
I
my
mean, you got
biggest.
a lot of Alan Holdsworth in you now. I mean, I've watched you play now for 7 or 8 years at least. Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you've done all kinds of different things, but a lot of Alan Holdsworth. So if Alan Holdsworth and the Mahavishnu Orchestra got together,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, because you got a lot of that going on too, especially
Mm.
in the composition.
Mm.
And married that, I mean, somehow I don't know how you get three people in the soup, but and married that up with an organ trio,
Yeah, yeah,
because you're a three piece.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
basically a modern, very, 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 very modern organ trio. I mean, you got,
yeah,
Matthew is playing bass,
yeah,
and he's playing all the keys, and there's a lot of ethereal patches going on there, and there's a
yeah,
lot of, I mean, there's a lot going on here. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I hope that suits well with you. It's a Holsworth,
Oh,
Mahavishnu, and
100%. Yeah,
but it's a three-piece group, and I got to tell you, I love bass players. They're probably my favorite musicians, but I don't miss the
yeah,
bass.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
don't know what that's all about because I usually do miss the bass. But
yeah, yeah.
man, the band sounds great. So, Tides of Time. tell us about what's going on there.
With that, yeah, with the song or the
No, no,
just
this
the
the whole
album together.
record, and you give us
Yeah.
your take on how what's going on.
Well, I guess it's kind of it's been quite a journey, like to get it all together. And I guess I started writing the songs while I was still at university, so probably around 2018, 2019. Um, and so yeah, in that sense, it's influenced by everyone I've been inspired by for the last 6 years, if not my whole playing career, to be honest. It's um yeah, kind of a in a sense it feels like a starting point for me, but also just a great yeah, a debut that's been many many years in the making, and yeah, I was really pleased with it. And I guess like the biggest thing as well was meeting the guys and playing with them and working on all the tracks together. And I guess that started sort of end of 2020, I think 2021. um and yeah, it's that's in essence what it was.
Move your camera down a little bit. We're still cutting off the top of your head some. There you go. Perfect. That's much better.
Perfect. Yeah.
So go ahead. 2020.
Um, yeah, started 2020 sort of rehearsing with the guys, and we were starting to get a couple of gigs around Sydney, so we were working together. And also with COVID, it was like had plenty of opportunity to play. Matt had just gotten back from Boston. He studied at the New England Conservatory there. And Alex and I had started playing together maybe a couple months before that point. And yeah, it became a collaboration from there. I guess most of the song ideas start from me, and then I kind of bring the elements to the band. And I guess you were mentioning no sheet music. I guess it all starts on sheet music for sure, just because it's so crazy. It's definitely helpful to visualize everything. But from there, we just try and loop the sections as much as possible so we um, get the
Talk
songs together.
talk about that crazy. What in your mind? What's crazy? Define crazy for people because I don't know if they understand what you're talking about.
I think it's the I think some of the tunes and the riffs and the chords, it's all quite ambitious. It started that way.
Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty conservative way to put it. Quite ambitious. Yeah, I would say it's pretty ambitious. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think they every song started as quite an ambitious idea from my part, as far as like me just messing around with, a lot of it's kind of written with technology to help me, because a lot of stuff I had an idea of what it could sound like, but to write it, I used technology like
Yeah.
something like Logic or something, where I can punch in these patches and punch in these rhythms and just hear them. And they all start from something in my head, but then using that, it helps kind of define what it'll be. And so, yeah, every song is, for the most part, pretty ambitious. I guess like Ultraviolet, Five, Eclipse, Tides of Time itself. Um, that in my mind, they're all yeah, got very complicated sections and very complicated rhythms and technical things going on that we really had to loop a lot and really had to you know um, between the three of us just kind of
Let me
feel
clarify.
rather than think.
Let's clarify what you mean by loop, because
Okay, sure.
some
Yeah,
people
well,
not
just be
understand.
like taking a section, like let's say I mean, the hardest rhythmically one is probably Ultraviolet, because
Yeah,
that's like one loop of the riff is 39, so 39/16. However, we don't really, we're not counting out everything, and it's all split up into smaller fragments.
right.
But that, for example, just looping that, the da 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 bam ba ba do da do da da bam 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 ba do da da do, like that's the one loop um, of the riff. So we loop that over and over again until it feels natural and we can
So when
play
you
over
say
it.
loop, I want to make sure I get it. You're not talking about using a looper.
Oh no no no,
You're talking about
just
playing it
the
over and
section.
over again. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to
just
make
the
sure that people
section.
understand it because they go, well, they're doing loops. So
No no
no,
no.
no.
Yeah,
You mean I know that I knew that you meant that, but I wanted to make sure I clarified it for everybody that
yeah, for
you
sure.
say loop, you mean you play it over and over and over and over again until it's there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. yeah. And more of a feeling rather than something we're trying to count because, whenever songs are in odd times, trying to get away from counting as much as possible and just having it be a feeling.
Well, I
Is it?
want. I mean, it's not just the odd time. It's all of the rhythmic licks, if you call it, the rhythmic motifs that are happening within that odd time.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of stuff going on. I mean,
yeah,
and it's not just Alex like hitting something out. I mean, you guys are doing it
yeah.
as a unit, which is. I
Mm.
mean, how the hell you remember all that stuff? That's good to have a young brain, I guess. But it's
Yeah.
but the thing that's fun about it is exactly that. It's fun. It's fun
Yeah,
for
yeah,
the year because I don't listen. When I don't listen casually to music. When I listen to music, I am engaged in listening to music, and
yeah.
so I listened to the record. I listened to the tracks, the YouTube tracks you were kind enough to send me and all that. And I listened to that. But then I found myself just leaving it on and doing other things. So
Mm.
not only did I enjoy it, with a very, very focused intent, but I also
Mm.
enjoyed it just as music. And for
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
that's as intricate as that and as complex as that, to be also listenable is that's pretty freaking cool because there's a lot of guys. There's not a lot of guys. There are some guys that write some pretty complex stuff, and you have to be dialed in, or you can't hang.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
with
yeah,
this stuff, you can go both ways with this. You can dial into it, and you can kind of also just let it be part of your soundtrack. It's really
yeah, yeah.
really phenomenal.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'm
No,
glad to hear that. That's
no, it,
definitely
it, it really is. Um,
what-
So talk to us a little bit about your compositions. I mean, none of them. I mean, there's no repetitiveness, if you will. I mean, they're all
Mm.
gems. There's 12 of them that you wrote, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so what was the concept there with Tides of Time? And was there any tie-in there with the songs and the titles and the how did you conceive of what you were going to do?
Yeah, is there really a through line? I don't think there is in particular. I mean, there's certain songs that I would kind of categorize as having more of the modern flavor, something like, yeah, Tides of Time itself,
Yeah,
Ultraviolet, Eclipse. Like in my mind, they're kind of sort of in the same universe. And then it goes back to something like Belmont Peak, which, that was one of my earlier compositions, which really feels more like yeah, more of a classic jazz song where it's got more of a defined form and there's
right.
solos, sections same as the head. And it's yeah, I wrote that I think in 2019 when I was still at university. So it makes sense coming from that aspect. Same with Energy, that was born out of the same era for me and that was heavily inspired by yeah, Pat Metheny, but also the guitarist I was studying at the time for my masters, like in 2019 too, which was Reinier Baas,
Yeah,
the incredible Dutch guitarist. So that one was inspired by that, and actually like a private lesson I had with him. That was almost the start of that tune. High Pass is definitely one of the more collaborative ones where we each wrote that together in the same room. So kind of really working on it together. Um, so yeah, there's songs that definitely tie into each other, and then some that are yeah, some
they're
that
one-offs.
aren't.
There's some
Yeah,
some of the stuff is quite ethereal. It's
yeah.
it's very, very ethereal, and you kind of go, I don't know. I just think it's a fantastic piece of work. Congratulations
Thanks,
on that.
thank you.
So let's talk about your video production.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What is up with that? I mean, you're like a freaking movie star in these things, man. I mean,
yeah.
folks, if you haven't seen the videos on YouTube, please go to YouTube and check all this stuff out. Are all 12 tunes up?
For videos, no, no, we don't have all 12, but
I think
most of them are. Yeah, we
there's
tried
a
to make an effort to film most of them. Yeah.
and you used the backdrop. You used a lot of the
Yeah.
natural
Yeah.
environment of Australia and a lot of ocean stuff. And I mean, it was
Yeah.
and whoever did your videography, did a fantastic job.
Oh, he's amazing. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
amazing. They were,
and
they were so much fun.
Now, how did you decide to do that? I mean, I mean, you talk about ambitious. Okay, this is your debut
Yeah, yeah,
record. Your debut record. It's only been like, 6 years in the making.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then you come out with these videos that, I mean, this is like, these are really, 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 really well done videos. And
yeah.
they what's really cool about them is they fit the music. I mean,
Mm,
the ones that are supposed to be with the ocean in the background sound like they're the ocean in the background. Then you got the studio cuts,
yeah, yeah,
that feel that way, that look that way, that have that whole thing. And um,
yeah.
so whose idea was it to run out to the ocean and to stick Alex's drums in the sand?
Oh, yeah, that was a mission, definitely. Um, I mean, we got incredibly lucky with both those days because, as you can imagine, it's completely up to the elements of what's going to happen. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, we had the idea. I guess the album was basically done in March of uh 24. Yeah, March of 2024, the album was done and could have been released. But I guess in my mind, it's we had all the studio clips done, which I thought were great, but I thought it'd just be cool to, make use of the incredible Australian landscape, especially because the songs really invoke that for
Oh
me.
yeah.
Evoked that for me when I was listening to them. I was like, oh, I can imagine this song on the cliffs, and I can imagine this one in these different settings. And I had a bunch of ideas. And the same guy who filmed the ones in the studio also filmed them, so I have a close relationship with him. His name's Raf, and he's amazing. So I kind of pitched it to him. I was like, man, what do you reckon? Can we? I sent him the two tracks, Dark Summer and Tides of Time, that we wanted to do, and he was like, I can totally see where you're going with this, Josh, and let's make it work. He listed a whole bunch of beaches, a whole bunch of cliff faces that he's shot at before for, different projects. And I kind of looked them all up, and then we sort of planned to do them. And I think we did them in the space of 3 weeks. So one weekend for one, and we drove 2 hours down the coast and stayed. My parents came with me too. And that was the one, Dark Summer.
Yeah.
And that was filmed at this amazing place 2 hours down south of Sydney called Bombo Quarry near Kiama. And yeah, there's just these amazing old quarry rocks, as you can see. I think it's basalt or something like that that's still left there. And we got really lucky because it was a king tide, meaning just the amount of waves coming over these
I,
big rocks was just out of the ordinary. It was
yeah,
unusual. Yeah.
how do you draw that up? I mean, you can't. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Hollywood has to do that in CG, I mean, to make
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
work. It's like, good
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
I mean,
Uh,
people. I mean, y'all got it. Y'all listen to me, Southern guy. I'm from up north, but really got to watch these videos and listen to the music because it's a delight. It is really a
Oh,
delight.
thank you.
Very,
Thank you
very,
so much.
very, very cool. So your dad went with you, huh?
Yeah, well, Dad and Mum, because it was such a lug, because I think it was about a 10-minute walk from the car park to where we had to set up, and we had to bring the whole drum kit, the two keyboards, my two guitars. I mean, I was easy, just two guitar cases, but carrying the whole kit down and making it look as visually and accurate to what he was playing. Like it's not like we could just bring a snare, a kick, and a cymbal. It's like the whole
No,
thing had to
no,
be there to make it look accurate. And,
that wasn't
yeah,
lost on me. I'm saying it, man. He's got his whole kit out there, and
yeah, yeah.
man, I bet he's like,
Oh, and we.
I hope the wind
Yeah.
doesn't blow because I don't want sand on my finish here. I don't want
Oh,
to.
we almost got like a little bit. Some of the waves were really close to us, like completely washing us out. Like there was once a big one came up, and I think how many of us? All six of us dropped everything, scattered, and tried to save the drums. Like we literally pulled everything off the floor because the water had come right up to the drum kit,
Oh
like
my
in
God!
between takes or whatever. And there's one little shot, if you watch it, I think it's in the first head or something, but there's this huge wave that comes over, and Alex just can't not look and
Yeah, no,
check
it's
if it's going
a
to hit
big
him.
wave. It's an explosive wave. I
It's an
mean, I saw that.
explosive one, yeah.
I went,
And then
holy.
yeah, to not, lose kind of the attention, Raf had to reverse it. So the wave comes up and then it goes back. so that we don't see Alex's head turn, because that one was really close. I
Yeah.
remember.
Did
It was all
did
the way to
you
the
did you have did you have playback gear there to listen to the tunes on?
yeah, just a speaker, and we had
Yeah.
the mix. I basically chopped up the tune into about seven different sections, so we could just hit it section by section.
Yeah. It's really really cool.
Yeah, it was
Well,
it was a fun. It was such a fun weekend.
so the
It was
record
great.
came out in what, February, right?
Yeah, February. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
how's it doing?
yeah. Great response. It's awesome.
I love it.
Awesome to have it out in the world. It's I guess it's yeah, it kind of I guess it just does its thing there now, and it's great to just finally have this stuff, out there properly. It feels like a massive difference in my head now and in my career, I guess, and
Oh
everything.
yeah,
It's
because now people have
great.
got something to anchor with you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
This is who you are. In other words, it's a,
yeah,
and the fact that it's all original is great. You didn't cover a bunch of stuff that's been done before. I was
yeah,
let's talk about that. Let's get semi-serious here for a minute. Composition. Uh,
yeah.
a lot of guys can play these days. A lot of guys can play. Man, the chops that I'm seeing from 14-year-old kids is mind-boggling.
It's insane. Yeah,
Eric Clapton, in his best day when he was God, couldn't get near these kids when they're 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. I mean, I'm
yeah,
telling you technically. I mean,
yeah,
now
yeah.
emotion, feel, all that. No, they're kids. They can't get there. They don't have any experiences. But in
No,
terms of the technical playing, there's a lot of guys out there that can play. Obviously, you're obviously one of them. But composition to me is like that's what really is to I think more now than ever for a quote unquote jazz player. I think composition is what's really separating people. Um,
Hmm.
and your compositions are great. I mean, do you feel that as an artist? I mean, tell me how important that was to you to I'm kind of leading the witness here, but how
Yeah.
important it was to you uh, to make it yours.
Um. Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think composition kind of, for me, wasn't a big part of my thoughts and ideas probably until last couple of years of the conservatorium. So really starting in 2018, and I guess before then it was all just my only focus was learning song standards and improvising. Those were the two biggest focus. And then suddenly I did get kind of a creative um or just something in me wanted to start, putting
Right.
all this stuff in my own voice. And, I feel like I compositionally, I generally, um, I'm very inspired by the guys I love. And I think that kind of comes through, not, um, being inspired by other people and their ideas. And then like, or finding new things. I think that was the other thing. Composition for me generally stems from me discovering a new thing, whether it's a rhythm or a chord or something, and then just playing around with it, recording myself, and then maybe, later on I'll listen back to it and hear, a start of a song just right there. And um, that's how a lot of them started, me just kind of noodling. And then when I flesh out compositions, it's, listening to other people, how they structure songs. And I think taking elements of other people, like let's say the structure of a song, for example, where we're not, you know, being inspired by anything other than the structure is a really fun one, or whether it's just like one little chord moment or something like that, and seeing where it can go. I think also the compositionally, I really started doing a lot when it came to posting online, because I was always writing little etudes, once again, just based on chord things I had discovered. And um, and rhythmic things too, or I watch someone do a breakdown of their, production, and I'm like, oh, I want to try that bass patch or something, and then just chuck something in and then see, where it goes. And a lot of them start out that way. And then always trying to, I guess what you mentioned with, the active versus passive listening, I really tried to, keep that in mind to not make anything go too crazy where I feel like it would lose people, and try and keep the elements of, a distinctive melody or a distinctive section coming through, even though there is a lot going on, both harmonically or rhythmically, and trying to keep that in mind all the time as much as I can. And yeah, yeah. I guess like for example, like the Ultraviolet I remember starting that song, and I think it was in 2021. And at the conservatorium, I did a great rhythmic course with a wonderful drummer and educator here in Sydney called Simon Barker, and he studied in Korea. He studied Korean drumming for a lot of his life, and he kind of came back to the con and would teach students this different kind of perspective on rhythms and drumming and stuff like that. And I was in his rhythm awareness class, it was called, and that was the first time I was exposed to kind of odd time stuff. And we would stand there in a circle, kind of clapping, stomping, like doing different rhythms. It was really awesome class, one of the best ones I had at the con. And he gave us this sheet one day, and I think it was just this set of numbers that translated to kind of rhythm, and we were kind of clapping it around the circle. And then 2 years later, I pulled out that sheet. Um, I was like, oh, I wonder if there's any cool rhythms in it. I had the idea for quite a while of like, oh, I could probably write a song with one of those rhythms these days, and could be kind of cool, odd time thing. And so I pulled out that sheet, and right there was like in the middle of the line was kind of the rhythm of Ultraviolet, which is 5 5 5, 4 4 5 3 3 5. So that's everything of Ultraviolet is just those numbers there: 5 5 5 4 4 5 3 3 5. And then I broke it down into the kind of the twos and threes of each rhythm so that it's a bit more manageable. But yeah, that's how you get that. And I think I punched it in first just in Logic, just with a keys patch. And I had the idea of splitting up chords, and this is I think I got from Kurt Rosenwinkel on one of his YouTube tutorials or something, where you might split a four-note chord into um, uh, two sections. So you have two voices that make up the chord, and you try and with the strings, if you got like A, D, G, B, you try and link the D and B string and the G and A string. So you got a gap. And there
Yeah.
might be like a cool interval. Let's say it's a major seven, and you split it up that way. You would get the one and the seven, and then the five and the three. And that was kind of the idea of, oh, let's try and do that with, these cool kind of nine chords or whatever. The chords are pretty basic in the song. I think it's going E flat minor nine, B major seven, B flat minor seven. And then there's an A flat minor seven at the end. So all very diatonic, but then what made it sound interesting to me was just splitting those chords up into those two different voices and then trying to make as many fifths in there as possible. I think that was another idea of mine to just have that element in there too, because I just love the sound of it. So um, and if you think about the rhythm, then it just follows that. It's going 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. That's the first three fives, and then 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 1 2. That's the 4 4 5, and then there's a 3 3 5, which is going 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, or 1 2 3 1 2. Yeah, sorry, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. And then that's the red sub. Ba da do do bam bo bo da da do bam 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 ba da ba da do 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 bam bo da 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3. And that's kind of that's the start of the song really, and it grew from there.
You remind me of John
That's the impressive.
McLaughlin talking about conical, you know,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
how he goes about all of that.
yeah.
Wow, that's well, everybody, you got your rhythm homework to do to to are you gonna publish any of the music for that if people wanted
Yeah, I
to
think.
learn your tunes?
Yeah,
Because there's
I
so much.
think
I
I
mean,
will for sure.
every one of those songs is a class.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so much to be gained from if you understand what's going on.
Mm,
I think it's a pretty cool thing to do if you can. It's almost like the Josh Meader, instructional book, and
mm,
take three or four of those tunes, four or five of those tunes, and really tear them apart so your average guitar player can almost kind of
yeah,
understand
yeah.
what you're doing because uh, you know what you just did lost about 90% of the guys out there. They can't really grab that, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
And it's so important for them. I mean, when we're appreciating music, we want to appreciate music on as deeply as we possibly can understand it.
Mm,
So
mm.
I'm an actor these days. I've been been working towards doing that, and
Awesome. Yeah.
I started studying about 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, and so when I go see a movie or when I watch a TV show or something like that, I know what's going on a lot more than I ever did.
Yeah.
And you think, oh,
Yeah.
doesn't that ruin it for you? Well, no. I
No.
appreciate the craft, the art, the
Yeah.
artisanship, the what, how much work that was to pull all that together, and then that helps develop, the audiences. So, yeah, I think if you made a some kind of a even if you just if you took one of those tunes and gave it to me in pieces for jazz guitar today, we would publish it in pieces.
Yeah.
Over
Yeah.
a course of a year, someone could learn, one of those tunes. If
Yeah.
they went through every lesson, it would be kind of a cool thing to do.
Oh,
Um,
100%. Yeah.
let
Yeah. I
there's
definitely.
I'm sorry, go ahead. What?
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I definitely, yeah, have plans to, yeah, do kind of a composition book and, yeah, it'd be great to analyze everything properly. I've definitely, yeah, I got plans for it. It's
Well,
just
if you want
when
to
I,
do it, we could help you. I mean, we could do it in little.
yeah,
We could give little bits of it here and there. So if somebody wants the whole thing,
yeah,
they buy. We don't want. You know what they say. You don't want to give away the milk. No one. However that goes. The cow. You got to buy the cow, get the milk. All that kind of thing. Um,
sure,
let's talk. There's a couple of things that you mentioned I want to get into. So, who are the guitar players or the musicians that are your biggest influences right now?
yeah.
Who would
Right
you?
now,
Yeah, who would you
um,
suggest people should? Where? Well, where you were talking about the influences for this record.
yeah, yeah, and I guess they because just span such a long time, but I'd say my top influences just off the top of my head, and I guess this is all time, and I'll mention some of the guys right now as well, but definitely Pat Metheny has been such a huge influence for me all the way through. Just always listen to his stuff, and I've been playing his stuff since kind of high school big band when big band instructor gave us first circle or something to try and do, and um, he's been, yeah, massive influence just compositionally, playing wise, tone wise, everything. Other big influences, someone like Tigran Hamasyan, um, he's definitely a huge influence, and I guess parts of the album which go into that more kind of darker sound and um, intense kind of rhythmic thing. That's probably from him, as well as like metal bands that I love, like Animals as Leaders as well. Um, busting out some kind of drop tunings for that one too, Tides of Time, and definitely very inspired by them, Tosin Abasi, and um, other jazz guys that have always inspired me. I guess going back, it's always two of the biggest influences have been Borelli, Legrand, and Sylvain Luke.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that more traditional jazz stuff, but yeah, I find them just both such amazing players, such amazing musicians, and yeah, as far as vocabulary goes, those two I've transcribed so much from and tried to learn so much. Who else do I want to say? Well, Alan Holdsworth for sure. Kurt
I was gonna say,
Rosenwinkel,
if you leave him out,
another
I'm
one.
gonna be really surprised because
Yeah, no, definitely Alan, and especially like as far as a guitarist who I've been checking out a lot at this kind of present moment, and maybe for the last year or so, has definitely been Alan. I think I
yeah.
finally arrived at a point where I feel like I can attempt to understand everything a little bit clearer and try things at this age after playing for this amount of time. And there's still so much of it that is just a complete utter mystery. But you know, learning more and more from him, and I think recently he's been one of my favorites. And um, I guess in that category of modern players, someone like Scott Henderson I've been checking out a lot recently too, as well as Eric Johnson, Joe Bonamassa, kind of just I guess a key thing on the album was that I didn't use any kind of gain. Like I kept all the solos very
Well,
clean
I
sound.
was gonna we're gonna get to the gear in a little bit because I noticed that. I noticed
Yeah,
about the tone that you used.
yeah.
Getting back to well, you had mentioned Joe Bonamassa. What were you saying before that? Because it tricked my ear a
Oh,
second.
just Eric Johnson, Scott
Oh,
Henderson, maybe.
Eric, yeah,
Yeah.
Scott Henderson. Yeah. I mean, I love Scott. I've
Yeah.
talked to him many times. I used to listen
Amazing.
to him a ton. Have you heard his new record or the newest record?
No, no. I
Man,
need to check that out.
the newest record. He's gonna kill me that I can't remember the name of the thing, but it's crazy good. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is. I think it's maybe one of the best things he's ever done. And I'm sorry.
Wow. Wow.
In fact, I'm going to look it up while we're sitting here, because it is so good. He's. I mean, he's always been crazy, crazy great player. But his newest record is let me see here, music. This website could be a little old. What is this? Where are we?
Oh, I'll definitely be checking that out right after this.
Oh
I
yeah,
didn't realize.
it's not on the site. Wait a minute. I mean, just one more time. It's incredible. I mean,
Awesome. Awesome.
it's very it's very compositionally. It's great. The tones that he goes for. He still has that kind of rock jazz band thing going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nuts. I'm gonna see if I can. Newest record. I got to type in. I see. It's amazing how you get addicted to this. Looking everything up and having it right at your hands.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Yeah.
Carnival is the new is it
It is,
was
it
the
is.
new one.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
it's a year
Oh,
old.
yeah. 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 No,
Yeah.
I have listened. I have listened
Oh,
past that.
okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
It's killer.
it's just like it's phenomenal. It really is.
Yeah.
And Eric Johnson, of course. I mean, well, Eric is. When I interviewed him a few years back, I was saying, uh, what I was saying, 14, 15-year-olds are all playing, 'cause he's talking about I can't play like I used to. I said, well, I don't know. I watched you play the other night. You seem like you're doing pretty good.
That
Uh,
was pretty good.
and he said, I said, yeah, how does it make you feel that the 14-year-olds are playing Cliffs of Dover? He said, man, they can play it better than me, and they're not 14, they're 11.
Yeah, it's so nuts. So nuts.
And I laughed. I said, "Well, it's crazy, but feel and
Mm,
communication, and that's why the composition thing is so important. Even if you're
mm.
truly composing a solo and not just grabbing things you've done before and repiecing it together in different things.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
your tone for a minute, because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
noticed
Yeah.
everything is clean. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's relatively clean. There's no legato, overdrivey kind of stuff.
No.
Like,
No.
and at one time, you and I were talking back a few years ago. We talked, and we were talking about I said, how are you getting and you were talking about your technique, your legato technique, and you said, well, I'm not picking every one of those notes. I'm doing some,
No.
you
No.
know, but
Stuff. Yeah.
this playing is clean,
Yep.
beautiful tone. I mean, you're getting great
Thank
tone,
you.
and it's
Thank
an unusual tone.
you.
It's
Yeah.
it's not fat guitar tone. It's not solid body guitar tone. It's a nice. I know she's using several different guitars, but
Yeah.
it's really it's a good full sound. But it's got an interesting clean sustain, which I'm just not. It's really you did a
Yeah.
great whatever you did a great job.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
I know you're using an Ibanez guitar. I know you're using your I never say the name right because you got the blue one behind you and you got the
Oh, the Kiesels. Yeah. Yeah.
Kiesels. And I know you're
Yep.
using it. We're reviewing one of those instruments right now, which we're gonna
Amazing.
we'll put out the review.
Cool.
That's your
Cool.
signature guitar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you tell us about your decision to have you been playing that tone for a while? Have you, slowed
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely just it's my main sound that I would use. I guess most of it's, would is probably just coming from the matchless I use, and um there's just such a beautiful solid, clean sound, and I guess that's the starting point. And then from there, I think all I did for some of the lead stuff was add like a using my quad cortex, add just the rat pedal they have in there, as kind of a bit of a thickening and a bit of a boost. So I added that in. I think like thinking about this lead tone for ultraviolet, that was the matchless with the rat pedal from the quad, and I think some delay reverb from the timeline and Big Sky. And then after that, I might um, we go in and obviously mix it to where it needs to be. I think often like a bit of top end gets shaved off, not too much though. And then some extra delays I generally add. I use this Fab Filter plugin. I have been using it for ages, which is just a really great delay sound. So
Mhm.
I'll chuck that on, just even more delay, even more kind of sustain there with that. And then yeah, the rest is up to Richie Belkner, who's the mixing engineer, and I guess the guy who recorded us all too. So he's mic'd the amp in his preferred way, which I think is with three different mics. And yeah, I really don't know how he did it, but that's his kind of approach. And I think they're also panned. I think it might be one down the center, two slightly off, something like that. Anyway, I have to ask him what exactly he did, but um, yeah, and that's really kind of all that's going on in the chain there. Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is, even though I know you said you're using a touch of rat, but I used to work with the guy that invented that thing, by the way, the rat
Really,
day,
really.
an organ player. Pro
Yeah, yeah.
Go. I mean, it's a long story, and I had some of the original ones, and
Wow,
but
wow.
anyway, but that's a fun. You know who else uses that pedal is John Scofield.
Ah, okay.
That was
Awesome.
his main
Yeah,
pedal for a long, long time. But
yeah.
you don't get the sense of any big time overdrive sustain.
No, no.
It just all it does is kind of fill out, and continue the
Yeah,
envelope a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
It
Because I have the
matter.
distortion right down. I think that the gain's like right down, maybe on like point something, and then
Yeah,
it's the
yeah.
rest
So
is just volume and tone.
you're using it kind of like a flavored boost. You
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
sort of like
Yeah.
what the EP pedal is all about.
Ah, yeah.
Because that was basically the circuit for the Echoplex that
Yeah.
Jimmy Page
Having the
used to
boost.
plug
Yeah, yeah.
into, and that was pretty.
Yeah.
That's what I was told anyway. I don't know how true that is. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you're using a matchless amp.
Matchless amp. Yeah, matchless
Which one are you
Avalon.
using? A Chieftain or which one is it?
No, no, it's Avalon 30. It's like a combo thing. I don't know if they do a head and cab for this one, but I got it, yeah, got it a couple of years ago, and it's just 112 speaker and just huge, huge sounding.
It's got
It's beautiful.
transformers. It's got transformers like a bull's balls.
It's,
I mean, it's
it's so heavy. It never leaves the house, I'll be honest. It's way too heavy.
they are so heavy. Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
they're fantastic amplifiers. I mean, I wanted one so
yeah,
badly. I used to go when I was going to NAMM shows. I went to NAMM shows for 30 years when I was in the industry, and I'd
yeah,
always go by and drool over those amps. And I thought, I can't pick this thing up,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and
Back end.
I
Yeah,
don't even know who makes those transformers, but my God. And we're talking about the amps only this big, but the transformers are like freaking,
yeah,
they're like freaking
yeah,
huge. And
yeah.
they sound amazing, and they're built like little brick shit houses, as people like to say, but they're just amazing. Um,
Yeah,
and so, well, obviously it's a great tone. I mean, you're
thank
getting
you.
you're getting a great tone, a great sound. Um, I was going to ask you, so are you going to tour this thing?
Yeah, I mean, trying to work on that at the moment. I guess I could have kind of waited with the release to have stuff lined up, but it was really time for it to be out. Like I say, it was a year already, kind of sitting there waiting to go, getting all the release stuff together with the clips and all that. So yeah, we're working on stuff now, and hopefully we'll have some news coming up. But yeah, that's definitely the goal. We'd love to kind of go on the road and play these tunes live.
Well,
We've we have done it like last couple of years. We've had a couple cool shows and where we've basically played the whole album. But it'd be great to do a proper tour for it.
oh, it'd be great.
Um,
Well, we'd
yeah,
love to. would love to see you over here in the States, and I know how hard that is
Yeah, thanks, Shane.
to make that
Yeah,
happen. So
yeah, for sure. 100%,
for
yeah.
you, I would imagine a big tour would be going, like into Asia and all of that. Hmm.
Yeah, that could be really cool. Yeah, right now we're looking at Europe kind of first,
Oh, that'd
but
be
yeah,
great.
I would love to go to Asia. Be amazing to play there. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
definitely.
they love the music over there. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah,
from everything I can see, and obviously we'd love to see you here in the States.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
One day, fingers crossed, but I would love to. Love to.
that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's apparently it's easier for Americans to go. It seems to me, I don't know for a fact, but it seems to me that a lot of the Americans players they go all over the damn place. I mean, they're all over
yeah,
the place.
yeah,
But like Eleanor Ostrino, who's a good friend and an Italian guitarist, she wants to come, and she's got all kinds of issues with, work visas and all kinds of things. And
yeah.
I don't have any. I
It's
don't
the
know what
thing.
that's all about. But
Yeah,
it seems like everybody over here that wants to go into Europe or go anywhere, they just get on a freaking plane and go. I guess I don't really know. I don't really understand it. All I know is that every time I
yeah,
talk to
yeah,
somebody from you know on the other side of the world to come here, it seems like
yeah.
it's really, really tough. I don't know. Maybe the market's harder. I don't know what it is. But anyway,
Yeah, I think yeah, it's harder, I think, just for a lot of reasons. But yeah, I think it's harder to get permits to play properly in the country and stuff like that, and
yeah.
expenses go up due to that and all the
So what do you do all day long?
logistics.
Obviously you're teaching.
Yeah, doing a bit of teaching, yeah, definitely. And yeah, at the moment, just I guess gearing up for I mean I'm going over to Europe in the summer, so I've got some cool things happening then, doing the MFA guitar camp again, which I did last year and just was such an awesome experience. So I'm doing that again, which is going to be great.
And
Uh,
where is that held?
That's in Italy, in near Verona, essentially. And yeah, I'll be teaching alongside yeah, just some awesome players, Jack Gardiner, Tom Quayle, Marcus Fogley. Yeah, it's gonna be killer. Martin Miller is gonna be there this year too, which is gonna be great. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. And then hopefully a couple gigs around Europe too. So yeah, that's kind of the first thing on my radar. And I guess I'm still working on all my stuff, to be honest, man. I just, it's a lot of practice, a lot of developing new things. I guess now that the album's out, it finally gives me a chance to kind of reset and
Yeah.
look to the future of which direction I want to go in. I guess that's, bringing up kind of the sound. I think that's a big one for me where I finally feel like I've found certain, higher gain sounds that I really love that, feel after a long time of searching and never really liking anything that I was hearing that now I feel a bit more comfortable with that. So that's been, I'd say for the last 6 months, that's been a real search, just trying a lot of different things. I've had the pedal buying has been just absolutely out of control, I'll be honest. But I'm getting somewhere now, I think. So I'm excited about that and
Are you
just,
talking
yeah,
about the overdrive tone or what in general are you
exactly.
talking about?
Yeah,
What?
just finding the overdrive stuff. Yeah, yeah,
I had to put you in touch with my buddy Brad Jetter.
yeah.
Uh, Brad builds pedals.
Ah, cool.
Overdrive pedals called Jetter Gear, and he writes for the magazine. In fact, he's just doing the review for you.
Ah, sick.
And he's done a pedal for Grissom. He's done a pedal. He did a 120. He's had some really successful pedals, but he's kind of an artisan. Like
Okay, okay.
if you kind of told him what you were looking for, he might take that on as a fun project to do.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll mention
Oh,
it to
killer.
him and maybe put you two
Please,
guys
yeah.
because I mean you know, he uh, he needs a challenge. The poor guy.
Yeah.
If you give him
Okay.
a
Okay.
tone you're looking for, he doesn't do this like forever. You just can't call him up and say, "Hey, I want." But
Of course. Of
but
course.
I think that if you were interested in, he's got a Dave Grissom pedal that's and he's got there's several guys that he's done over the years where he's done
Awesome.
pedals for them. and they're
Yeah,
still
yeah,
using them. And it might be because I got it's hard. I own and I've sold a lot of them, but I probably
yeah,
own 30 overdrive pedals.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and you know
Oh,
what I
it's
mean?
a constant search. They're all great. That's the hard thing, and it's
Yeah, and
blending them
right
with
now
different
I'm just
guitars.
playing this
Yeah,
clean. It's just
yeah, yeah,
it's it's it is. It's a constant search because you don't
yeah.
want to sound like everybody else out there.
No, 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 no.
And then, like you talk about Joe Bonamassa, I mean, the secret to his tone is he's so freaking loud. I mean, it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's something to be said for taking those amplifiers and diming them and, letting it
Just
go.
yeah,
I mean, you can't get that any other,
letting them loose.
it's hard to get that, even with
Yeah,
the blues. And then, of course, McLaughlin went to computers, I mean, that's a whole
yeah,
different bag
yeah,
altogether. And Jeff Beck, he wouldn't, he would play um, champs, and then he would play Marshall Stat. I mean, he was, it's all over the place.
yeah,
And
yeah, 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 yeah.
and there's so many
Yeah,
guys, there's
definitely.
so many, there's, Stevie Ray had a great individual tone. You know,
Yeah,
playing playing with the, everybody had a thing, and then you got the clean guys. The
yeah.
John Scofield's got a great tone.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, I
bloody
love
awesome.
John's tone. And
Yeah,
and he's just like, but it's hard to find that. It's hard to find that thing where you go, oh, that's Josh, or oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah, 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 yeah.
and that you like. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, for
you like.
sure, for
So,
sure.
well, that's very, very cool. Well, what else
Yeah.
would you like to talk about? You got me. I'm yours.
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not sure. Whatever you're down for. I mean, that sounds awesome with yeah, your friend and yeah,
Brad,
it's been
I'll mention it to him and see if
please.
I'll give him, I'll exchange email addresses. And
Yeah,
I don't I can't speak for Brad, of course, but
of course. Yeah,
if you're looking for a pedal, and he is kind of a guy that likes a challenge.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna warn you right now, he is a perfectionist.
Sure,
When
sure.
you look up perfectionist in the dictionary,
He'll be right there.
yeah, yeah, he's one of those guys, and
Yeah,
but that'll still be cool. Well, look,
yeah,
man, I really appreciate this. I think we've been trying to get together this is our third time talking, for about 3 years now. We've been doing this
yeah.
magazine, but I know we're in our sixth year,
Okay,
if
okay.
not
Awesome.
seven. No, I don't think we're at seven yet, but we're definitely hitting six.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's great to watch your process.
Thanks so
I mean,
much, man.
because
Yeah.
we've been, it's like to see what you're doing, and how
Mm.
you're growing, and the music that you're making is your term for it, which we've all used the term, but ambitious. Uh, May you always be ambitious. That's my wish
Yeah,
for you. Maybe you always stay
yeah,
ambitious, because that's where it kind of comes from.
yeah.
When you kind of, with ambition comes risk,
For
and
sure. Yeah,
with
yeah,
risk comes excitement. You know,
yeah, yeah.
if you don't walk on the stage or walk in the stage, and you got a little bit of, excitement about it, just
You
excitement.
need to have.
And can
Yeah,
I really pull this off, and all that kind
yeah,
of stuff. And I mean, how are they gonna like it? Are they gonna, that's what, that's what makes it happen. If that ever gets gone, then you better go sell cars.
yeah, yeah. The risk is definitely the risk factor that always makes it exciting. So yeah, it's true. Always trying to keep that and
From a technique point of view, I mean, is there anything you're working on that's, your technique is,
mm,
I mean, phenomenal. I mean, just keeping that going, or are there things you're
yeah,
looking to try to accomplish that you?
yeah. I'm always trying to add stuff kind of to the yeah the bag of tricks. I guess it's yeah, it's constantly pushing. I mean, you never know, how long things develop. I mean, recently I've been kind of along, the Allen train, but going back to Guthrie, it's sort of my world of music has really been more fusion based for the last couple of years, I would say. And so there's certain techniques that come along with that that I felt like I needed to really work on. Like let's say that the more puristic kind of legato stuff, there's so much vocabulary there that I had never really worked on. So the past 2 years, that's kind of been cool, as well as, including kind of the tapping in that category too. So tapping, legato, Guthrie,
Are you still
Holdsworth.
you are you using tens or nines?
Um, well, tens on all my 25 and a half
Right.
inch scale guitars. So that includes like my Strats and the Kiesel Super Strat I have. You might be able to see. There you go there.
Yeah. All right.
And then on my signature one, there's actually 11s. Because it's a
Oh,
25-inch scale
right.
guitar, the 11s definitely feel a lot lighter. I guess it feels like a 10 and a half. I'm actually trying to experiment now because I would like to get my signature feeling closer to my super strat on tens. So I've messaged Diodari and we're I'm gonna try kind of like a hybrid thing where I'm almost doing like a set of 10.5
Yeah.
on my signature because I'm really curious if that will feel any similar. The tension is will still be greater, but I'm hoping it'll feel cool. Anyway, that's an experiment right now.
How how
Um,
how how low is your action?
oh, pretty low. Yeah, pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean it's obviously not buzzing or anything and it's all the notes are still full, but yeah, as low as I can get it without touching that really. I mean it's all those techniques, it's just
You gotta
I
have it.
play so much that if I have to struggle at all, then I know I'm just in trouble as far as hurting myself because I've certainly been close a lot where I've pushed it and my hands start to give me grief with my forearms and stuff. And it's always being aware of that, especially when I'm putting in so many hours still and just trying new things. So
Yeah,
um
I don't play this guitar that much. This is a big old fat arch top, and
yeah,
it's got
yeah,
it's got 12s on it.
yeah, awesome. Yeah.
But I don't play it very much because it wears me out.
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
my usual guitars that I sit around the house with are Strats and Tellys, and they're set up with
Yeah.
those are set up with nines, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, 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 yeah.
my 25-inch guitar is set up with tens. But
Okay. Okay.
you know, the facility, what did BB King say? He was playing eights. He said, "Why do I want to work any harder?" You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Of course, he didn't play a whole lot. You know, the band played. He
Yeah.
play a couple licks and sing, and then all that.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
working 24/7 on that guitar. So
Well, there's definitely a history of guys playing pretty light string, eight and nines. This seems like more common than you would think, and I think it's just that it's like when you're playing so much, it's yeah, quite important to take care of your arms, and if
I've
yeah,
been playing guitar for 60 years, and I've never had a hand issue
that's awesome.
ever.
Yeah,
And
that's awesome.
never had a hand issue. And I hear a lot of guys that say they can't play anymore, and I don't.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
being thank God, praise the Lord, and all that kind of stuff. But I've never had it.
yeah, yeah.
Well, Josh
Yeah,
Meader,
it's a big one.
I can't thank you enough for doing this with us, and I want to wish you
Oh,
all the
thank
luck. That
you.
the record is called
Tides of Time.
Tides of Time, and the players that are on there with you are.
Matthew Thompson on keys, piano, synth bass, the whole lot, and and Alex Hurlian on drums. Yeah.
Is there anybody else in there?
No, no, it's just us three. Everything is just us.
I
Yeah.
knew the answer to that question, but I just wanted to make sure. And
Yeah.
who is the producer?
Well, I guess it's me really. I mean, me and Matt, we kind of handled a lot of the production stuff and working with Richard Belkner, who's Richie, who's he was the mixing engineer, and I guess yeah, he's
What
big,
studio did
big
you use? What's the studio?
hand in that. It's great. Well, it was his studio called Free Energy Device Studios, and unfortunately, like we were one of the last sessions in the studio before it closed down, and he's bought a new place which is being built now, which is just going to be incredible here in Sydney. But yeah, we were one of the last sessions. End of 2022 was when we recorded it, and
Mm,
yeah, one of the last sessions in that place, and that's the one that you can see on the films there on
yeah,
tunes like Ultraviolet and Eclipse, and
very cool.
yeah, it was a beautiful studio. Filmed so many sorry, it's recorded so many amazing legendary jazz
And,
albums from Australia. So
and
yeah.
the music is available everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, everywhere if you want to stream it. You can get it on Bandcamp as well if you want to help support us, especially for the next future projects and everything.
Yeah,
That'd be
and
much appreciated.
a whole lot of the stuff is available on YouTube. You can watch these incredible videos
Yeah, yeah.
that you put together,
Thanks, Paul.
and
Thank you.
they're really really great. Well, it's a fantastic project.
Thanks so much.
You're a great artist. You really are, and I just applaud you. I applaud your ambition. I admire it. I think the music is great. Your playing is great. You're a hell of a guy. I never
Thank you,
met
man.
your dad. Next time you're gonna have to get him on with us for a minute.
Yeah. Oh, he would
Is he
love
still
to.
playing?
He'd love to do it. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. We do regular gigs here together in Sydney all the time. Do like duo guitar stuff, just like you saw us playing on the rocks. We still got it
I
going.
love that.
Yeah,
Do me
yeah,
a favor next time you do one. Stick the iPhone up or whatever you got, and
yeah,
do a little
yeah,
video and send it to me. And
yeah, yeah,
we'll stick it up on the on the magazine. And
yeah. That'd be
anytime, listen,
fun.
anytime you know of something that's going on cool in Australia that's cool, man, just take a picture, write a
Yeah,
paragraph, send it to us. Just say, hey, Josh from Australia, Josh checking in. This is cool. I saw this, or this is a band.
yeah, yeah.
Be our correspondent in Australia.
Australian
Uh,
correspondent. I like
well,
it.
if you got
Yeah,
somebody over there, if you got some players over there that you think we our readers would be interested in, keep me posted with that too, because
yeah, yeah.
that
For
was a
sure.
place I always wanted to go to, and I never have. But
Yeah.
I always want to go to there, and obviously New Zealand, which is not really close to you, but
No,
compared
no.
to here, it's close.
Same area. Yeah, same general area.
You're kind of over on that side, that
Yeah.
side of this thing. But it's a 1,200 miles away, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah, it's quite a distance. I mean, it's what I think a 3 hour, 3 to 4 hour flight from
Yeah,
Sydney,
it's
is it?
like probably
Three,
like
maybe.
Atlanta to California.
Yeah.
It's not across the street.
No, no, it's not as close as you would think when looking
No,
at the map.
no.
Yeah. And
But
Australia is a lot bigger than you would think. It's
yeah, no, all you got to do
massive.
is superimpose Australia and the United States. You see how big it is.
Yeah, yeah. It's same
Thank you,
size. Yeah.
thank you, my friend.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, oh,
Really
of
appreciate it.
course, it's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure. And anytime you got something that you want to talk to us about, please just send me a line. Let me know what's going on. Say, hey, man, I just did this. Or if you do a show and you want, just have anybody just take a picture. Just snap a
Yeah,
picture. Say, hey, we did this show at wherever, and it was
yeah,
really
yeah,
cool. Or I got one coming up in July, and just anytime that you got something, just let us know. I mean, we're trying to make this a big community. I
yeah, yeah,
I just let people know, please, if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. Do all the things you could do, share, like, follow, and all that kind of stuff. And I will tell people, some people don't know this, that I did have a health issue back in 2024. I had a heart attack in March of
Oh man,
2024.
sorry to hear.
And I took a lot of 2024. The magazine, I wasn't too involved. We did a little bit. I was basically recovering. Uh,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm back now, and
Oh man,
we put out more content this month than we put out almost all of last year.
really?
Original content. Joe
Yeah,
Barth. I'd like to call him out. He did an amazing job doing a lot of interviewing for us, and we've got so
yeah,
many good friends. So we're back at it, hard and heavy and strong. And well, thank everybody. Please subscribe, like, share, follow. Send us a postcard. Let us know what you're up to. Josh
yeah.
Meader, all
Sounds
the
good,
way in
man.
Sydney, Australia, man. This is incredible. And the technology is great. When I was growing up,
Yeah, yeah,
I couldn't get a phone call across town. So
yeah, yeah.
All right, man. Thank you. Bye bye now.
Thank you so much, mate. Thank you.
See you.
Have a good one. See ya.
Bye.